I'm excited, okay?
My eardrums are bleeding.
Oh, are they bleeding?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I mean,
Like,
I'm
for
just
those
so
unaware,
excited!
when Kirby gets like super excited, he enters Banshee mode. My equilibrium's thrown off. I'm pretty sure the tubes in my ears have reversed the poles. But that's okay.
It happens.
Yeah, but that's okay because this is Zero Kirby's March of Metroid.
Yes!
And today, we are playing Metroid Prime.
Absolutely, 100%. So, for a little bit of context, this is my favorite game of all time. Period. Full stop. I mean, okay, I'll say this. It's tied with Metroid Prime 2 Echoes.
you turkey.
So, I mean,
You
like,
turkey.
and if we want to get, like, super extra technical, if you want to consider the Metroid Prime Trilogy disc one game all by itself, I mean, that's 3 Metroid Prime games on one disc. But, I mean,
Do you
I
consider
would.
this?
I would,
You.
because it's fucking good, damn it.
Is this the same proposition of when somebody says you can have one nacho and like 5 of them are attached? It's like it counts as one.
Yes, exactly.
It counts.
This is one notch. It's like when you cut the cake. It's like I'm gonna take one slice. You cut a slice out of the cake, and then you take the Pac-Man shape.
Yeah. Didn't Donald Duck do that once?
I think Donald Duck does that all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think Donald Duck has ever correctly taken a slice from a cake.
No.
Anyway.
Oh God.
We're just gonna jump right into it. Oh boy, oh boy!
I wonder how many words I'll get in today.
Probably a lot, because I'll be too busy focusing on the game.
Screaming. Actively screaming.
Yep. It's true. I gotta make sure that you're able to see the game as well.
This would be nice, yes.
I will start streaming. Yeah.
Let me in.
Let's see. Can I go full screen without it exploding? I'll do that in a minute.
I can hear it.
But, so, yeah.
Presents.
Wiimote. This was re-released on the Wii as the Metroid Prime Trilogy with the classic, with the controls introduced in Prime 3, which basically makes it the definitive version of the game. I'm playing it through PrimeHack, a branch of Dolphin that modifies the game to have mouse and keyboard controls. And oh boy, it's the good shit.
Yeah?
It worked good.
Oh, sick.
Wow, this menu screen looks really cool.
Yeah.
Somebody should make a stream overlay out of it.
Corona.
We're gonna go with this me because it resembles Samus the most.
Samus.
Damos.
Damos.
And then I'm gonna change a couple things. I'm going to turn the hint system off because
I don't need that shit.
I've played this game a million times. It won't let me turn it off. Never mind.
No.
I guess I have to do it inside the game, which is weird. It won't let me turn them off. It won't let me turn the bonus credits off either. What is happening and why?
Welcome to Metroid Prime Supremely Hard Edition, where Samus can't fire the gun.
Oh, God. I don't think I'm ready for Prime 4's menu screen to be not as good. I hope it's as good. Oh, people need to be able to hear the amazing game soundtrack.
Have you considered the sneaky control mappings?
I have considered that, actually. We'll definitely be able to get into it when we get into the game, though, for sure. Anyway.
Yes.
Time to play the game.
Yeah.
We're gonna play on Veteran because we're hardcore.
Yeah. You served.
We were in the arm cannon the whole time?
That's a long arm cannon.
Yep. I love that transition. It's really cool.
Talon 4.
That's all the exposition you get.
Space. The final frontier.
You know, actually, there was supposed to be narration for this. Like, Jennifer Hale recorded lines and everything. And, you know, coming off of, like, Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion, the Metroid games actually had, like, opening monologues from Samus. Metroid 1 and Metroid 2 didn't. But they had it, like, fully voiced and everything for this game, and then I don't remember if they just removed it or if it was, like, a coding error. Either one is likely.
Either one is likely, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of resulted in the rather Spartan way this game portrays its story, and also just the fact that Samus is basically silent in all of the Prime games.
She wasn't authorized for vocal cords.
Yeah, I mean, after playing other M, sometimes...
Samus. Don't speak to me. There she is!
It's Metroid!
There, yes! Finally! Yes! Yes with the flippies!
Yes! I still really like the Prime design for Samus. Alright, here we go.
Yeah, no, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I've got places to be!
So, yeah, when this game was originally released on the GameCube, the controls were a little weird. Oh, yeah, that reminds me, actually. Oh, that's the map. I have to change some options here.
Yes, we are playing on the Wii.
Yes. Absolutely. The Wii. And I mean, the controls for the GameCube version were fine. They worked fine, but the Wii version definitely has the superior control scheme to a point where it actually kind of trivializes a lot of the difficulty in the first two games.
An actual leg up on what came before it.
Yeah. But, PrimeHack, you know, now you can play with mouse and keyboard controls, and it's kind of a revelation.
Yes.
Anyway, my favorite thing about the Prime games is the scan visor, because, like, A, you just get all sorts of random info, like, oh, this death was caused by a severing of the spinal cord. Darn, sucks to be this guy. But you could also, oh, how did this guy die? Severe flame damage to exoskeleton. Oh no.
Oh no, my skeleton.
Oh, the platform can't be activated from this room.
Love flavor text, yeah.
Oh yeah, if you like flavor text, you'll like Metroid Prime. Incredibly large muscle structures. I'm not gonna scan literally everything, but like when I scanned those parasites earlier, they were added to the logbook. Anything important, or like any creatures, like, hey, scan this energy, it gets added to the research in your logbook. And you can just...
Is it fair to say that you know most of these prompts just off the top of your head anyway?
Maybe. Just a little bit.
I will not conform nor deny. Ball.
Yes. I love the Morph Ball in the Prime games. They do so much more with it compared to the 2D games, especially in 2 and 3. It's so good. Like, the
you want information? Walk into this map. Please pay $2.99 per month for the rest of this map.
No!
Too late. You've already downloaded it, Samus. It's already cold.
But yeah, they do a lot of cool stuff with the Morph Ball in the Prime games that I think makes it way more fun to use than in the 2D games, where it's basically, oh, here's how you get through small passages.
And also, from what I'm seeing here, it also is just things in general are really snappy.
Oh yeah, it's like everything just feels good. Like there aren't like absurdly long like animations for things. In general, like prompts are minimized.
Doesn't linger longer than it should.
Yeah.
Now, who was that you just shot down in cold blood?
That was a space pirate who had a brain hemorrhage.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, it's a creature, apparently. An auto-defense turret. Ow.
Ow!
You know, creatures.
Asshole!
I don't know if I'm gonna get 100% scans, but I'm gonna go for it at least.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, pirate
Pay
data.
to play Metroid.
Get ready for lore.
Lore.
Zebus has fallen. All ground personnel are presumed dead, either killed by the hunter clad in metal, or in the subsequent destruction of the underground facilities. Our research frigates, Orpheon, Syriacus, and Volperigam, were in orbit at 0 hour and managed to retreat. Frigate Orpheon is now docked at Vortex Outpost. Orpheon's cargo appears to have a 100% survival rate. Metroids are healthy, but on restricted feeding schedules due to uncertain supply status. We are ready to begin research on the Metroids and other promising life forms. Security status remains at Code Blue. No signs of pursuit from the Hunter. Did we just talk about how fucking badass it is that they just call Samus the Hunter?
Oh, that's us?
That's us. We're Jesus the Hunter.
Christ.
We are the Hunter clad in metal.
Like, I feel like that is absolutely the perfect equivalent to the Covenant referring to Master Chief as the demon.
Yes. Like, well, here's a space pirate who's feeling a little better. It's okay, he's dead now. Also, there's ragdoll physics.
I'm gonna take a nap right here. Good night. Hug shoe, gumshoe.
I'm not scanning any of the space pirates in this area because none of them actually count towards your logbook.
They're not worth a scan.
But hey, you get all sorts of flavor text like how they died or how their brain hemorrhage is keeping them from being able to shoot you properly.
That's quite sad.
Yeah, yeah. Oh.
I mean, yeah, girls out for blood. Girls night.
And there's a lot of... I will say, the Prime games do eventually get a little silly with how many things are activated by turning into a Morph Ball.
Sure.
We aren't going to see them in this game, but there is the kinetic orb cannon.
Pardon?
Which is able to fire suspiciously Morph Ball-sized objects large distances.
Sure.
Also,
this is fine.
Save stations fully replenish your energy in this game, which is interesting.
Shoot you with the lasers, and you're right as rain.
Yeah.
That's dandy.
Open the door.
Get on the floor. Everybody do the dinosaur.
I think these guys did the dinosaur a little too hard.
Shit. Hello.
This looks like a good place for a Smash Brothers stage.
Gross.
Yicky.
What the hell is that?
It's the Parasite Queen.
I don't like it.
Bosses always take a little bit longer to scan. Parasite female, genetically enhanced by unknown means. A weak spot has been detected in this creature's mouth. Use your auto-targeting to acquire this new target.
Oh.
Potent mutagen, origins unknown. Creature exhibits the ability to fire weapon-grade blasts of energy from its mouth, a trait not present in the standard parasite genome. It appears the pirates have begun a bioengineering program with considerable results.
Oh, good. Because that's what we need. Bioengineering that looks like this.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a mutated form of all those tiny little buggers we've been seeing all over the place.
Oh, great.
So this is supposed to be the tutorial for locking on and dashing, but I mean...
you know what you're doing.
We got the WASD, it's all good.
Also, realistically speaking, you controlling Samus in this scenario is the most Samus thing that could exist. You are the bounty hunter, Samus Aran.
I thought I turned the bonus credit messages off. I guess I didn't. Oops. Hold on a second. That's actually a feature they added in the trilogy releases, the bonus credits, which I'm actually going to take the time to turn on properly now. In system off, please. Bonus credit off. Yes.
Yes.
There we go. That should do it. Anyway, oh boy, gotta get that escape sequence. So, this is kind of like an expanded version of the opening sequence of Super Metroid, which starts out with Samus going to the Ceres space station, finding out it's been destroyed. You fight Ridley for a little bit, and then you have to leave before everything explodes.
Yeah, it will explode! Yeah, oh no!
And in general, this game is basically a 3D first-person version of Super Metroid, which isn't a bad thing.
I mean, that sounds rad.
Yeah. Nintendo were both confident and unconfident in this game when it was coming out. And so were a lot of people. They were like, oh god, they're turning Metroid into a shooting game. This is gonna suck. This is not gonna be fun. Metroid Prime is gonna suck. And then it didn't.
Yeah.
This being my first Metroid game, I never got into any of the controversy, so...
Nah.
I just got this cool-ass game. But, in fact, they were so unconfident in it that the version that was released in North America was later retconned in the PAL release to basically remove all references to Metroid 1.
Huh.
Like, the only thing, and the trilogy version is based off the PAL release, the only thing that really remains is that one pirate lore that says, Samus blew up our fucking base on Sebes, this sucks, man! But a lot of the Chozo lore was edited to remove direct references to Samus.
Huh.
Yeah, it's interesting, because they were like, oh man, if people don't like this, at least we can just say, oh, just kidding, it's not canon.
So, here's a question for you then.
Yeah.
At this point, when Prime got released, was it established as a franchise that was doing much better in, like, North America?
So, I think generally the Metroid games were performing better in North America, but I think another important thing to mention is that there was a decade-long gap almost between Super Metroid and the release of Fusion and Prime.
Oh, okay.
So, I think it'd been like 8 years. There was no Metroid game on the Nintendo 64, and the planned re-release of Metroid 2 on the Game Boy Color just didn't happen. Also, hey, it's Ridley.
Uh-oh. Hi, Ridley.
God damn it! I thought he was gonna stay dead!
Why won't you die?
Oh, yeah. If you stick around and you scan these, weapon update complete, Stinger Ballistics online, Plasma Fuel Cell online, you can get information on how to fight Ridley before you fight Ridley.
Oh.
Cerebral casing, exoskeleton. God damn. I think that's cool. And we're about to get to the most infamous part of the Metroid series.
Ow!
The part where Samus loses all of her abilities.
Like, I get why they do this. I truly, honest to God, do understand why this is a thing.
Yeah.
But it is really funny how it's just like, I'm gonna do this thing. Ow! All of my power.
It's funny because this and Fusion were the first games to actually offer some sort of explanation for why that happens. In Metroid 2 and Super Metroid, it's just, oh, I don't have all my stuff anymore.
It does, like, again, it does make sense. It is just kind of ham-fisted, though.
Yeah.
Like, it would have made, like, maybe a little bit more sense if it was, like, maybe Ridley in this incarnation has the ability of, like, absorbing energy and just grabs Samus and pins her to the ground and literally absorbs the Varia energy or whatever it would be. I don't know.
It's funny you say that because that's basically what happens in Prime 2.
Jesus Christ!
Not with Ridley, but that is literally what happens, is her abilities don't get destroyed, they get stolen and used against her, which is cool. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Ah, the beauty of nature.
Rockets directly onto the grass.
Yep.
The earth just catches fire.
Oh, God.
Da, 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 da.
This ship is very impractical.
Obviously, Ice, it's because you're the local Sonic the Hedgehog lore person.
Yeah.
That's why we're asking.
Yep. Your gunship is a scan. Everything's a scan. So, another controversial aspect of the Prime games is how Retro Studios tends to patch out bugs. Like, in the original release of this game, you could lock onto this thing far away using the scan visor, and then scan dash over to this ledge here and get a power-up way earlier than you're supposed to, which basically breaks the entire game wide open right from the start. That was patched out of later releases, including the PAL version, so if you're scanning something that isn't an enemy, you can't dash while scanning. Which, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like, this is the game that is... Like, I understand it in, like, Prime 3 or something like that, which actually has, like, a narrative, so doing everything in order makes sense. But this game, literally, that opening text is all the narrative you get.
Hey, straightforward.
Yeah, outside of lore, which you have to actually look for, so, you know.
Hi, Flair.
Hi.
I'm simply tickled by the fact that a robo-suit blonde lady royally pissed off a space pterodactyl so bad that they constantly want to kill each other.
I mean, the space pterodactyl started it. He killed her parents.
Yeah, dick.
Yeah. What a shitty bitch.
First. That makes him an asshole.
Also, the music in that area was like a remix of the Brinstar theme from the original Metroid. I hope you like elevator rides, because, oh boy, you're gonna get a lot of them.
Yeah.
These hide loading screens. That elevator ride lasts a lot longer on the GameCube version. also epic. Anyway, oh boy, lore! Chozo lore! The history of the Chozo stretches back into ancient times, so far into the fog of the past that we know not where our ancestors came from. One thing is clear, however. The Chozo who colonized Talon 4 made a conscious choice to eschew a civilization of advanced technology. We Chozo chose to live in harmony with nature, guided by the providence of the universe. We believe we will spend peaceful days here and plan to leave our words from time to time. Well, it looks like things went well.
Yeah. Ah, yes, in the Chozo ruins.
Oh, dang it.
Whoops. Dubious mozzarella is a solid.
It is. So yeah, when the game says you'll lose all your abilities, you lose literally everything except the scan visor. That's it. Everything else, gone. You have to find it all over again. Ah, scarabs. They just explode when you get near them.
Of course!
Or you know, when you shoot them.
Yeah.
That makes them explode too.
Oh, gross.
It's called an ion.
That's a BMOS.
Yeah, they are basically BMOS. How can we put in Zelda enemies without saying it's a Zelda enemy?
Yeah. His eyeballs, chicory, a colorful tail.
Many long years have passed since we Chozo first took root in this land. The passage of time has always been a source of fascination to us. It is the belief of many Chozo sages that the truths of the universe hide within the tumbling currents of time's flow. Even as we search for answers there, however, we find illumination in other, unexpected places. We know not how the ability has come to us, but recently many Chozo have begun to sense things beyond the realm of ordinary perception. Strange sights and inexplicable sensations flood our minds, filling us with visions. We take this growing ability to be a sign of our burgeoning harmonization with the infinite. Perhaps, finally, the universe's secrets are becoming known to us. Dang. These guys have reached the ultimate zen. Apparently. Oh god, bees!
Oh no! No! Those aren't bees, those are fucking wasps. Look at those assholes.
I mean, they are called war wasps.
Of course.
Just go full ramming speed at you.
Coming to get you. It's coming to get you.
Oh no! Oh no! So yeah, this is kind of like the most context we had for the Chozo in the Metroid series for a long time, because this was like the one game that actually like has like the Chozo saying, "Oh yeah, this is what we were up to," and it was pretty cool. In all the previous games, it was either like in the instruction manual or like really loosely implied. And of course, we never saw any actual Chozo in the games until Metroid Dread, which, well, thank God.
Yeah. Which, as small as an interaction as it was...
It was nice.
Yeah. So, here's a question.
Yes.
When Metroid Prime first hit the masses, when it was finally released and everyone was able to see it,
yep.
Were we, as fans, audience members, so on and so forth, was it established right from the get-go that Prime is a secondary type of timeline?
I believe so, because, like, both the instruction manual and the pirate lore that you scan at the beginning of the game really heavily imply that this game takes place after Metroid 1, but before Metroid 2. In fact, Frigate Orpheon, that's the frigate that we were in at the beginning of the game, like, it basically just escaped Zebas's destruction, or the base on Zebas's destruction, and Samus chased it here. Oh, we got the Hive Mecha and red bees.
Oh, war wasps! Come on, dude. That's not what I need on my subconscious.
This is basically the tutorial for your radar in the upper left corner of the screen. Activate the bee device.
Activate the bee device. Kill those bees.
Take that, bees.
Take that, bees. Fuck you, bees.
A really nice detail is that if you like shoot the arm cannon like a lot, you actually see like heat waves coming off the end.
Yes. Shit gets hot, man.
Yep. This game was also a bit of a technical showcase for the GameCube. This is like Retro Studios' like first project. They originally had like 3 initial projects, and like one of them was like some sort of like fantasy RPG. I think there was like another one that they were trying to get off the ground at the same time, and then Metroid Prime. Eventually, I don't know who at Nintendo said, hey, cut everything out and just work on this, but someone did.
Somebody
and they dedicated all their time to this game. And yeah, like, not only does this game look... One of us saw... Hey! We're not going to talk about what that guy did. Oh god, no. Unfortunately, one of the higher-ups in Retro Studios at the time actually did, yes, host
the aforementioned site of explicit
certain materials. Certain materials, and right. I believe he was also one of the developers of the infamous Guy game, which is actually illegal. So, you know, there's that. Nintendo
how was your day, honey? Well...
Yeah. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Metroid Prime. Metroid
Prime.
Yep. But yeah, this game not only still looks really good for a GameCube game of the time, especially an early GameCube game, but it runs at 60 frames a second.
Yes.
Like, it runs beautifully. It's extremely well optimized. Every once in a while, you'll get a door that takes forever to open, but, like...
Sure. But realistically speaking, this is still, like you said, it is a technical showcase of what the technology was capable of doing.
Yeah.
This is also one of the... I'll say one of the really few instances, even though that I'm sure somebody could probably bring up a smorgasbord of examples of what would appear to be a third party really actually using the hardware to properly optimize the thing that they're making.
Yeah, I think Nintendo did own Retro Studios at the time, so second
at the time?
party.
Okay.
Yeah, so second party, but still, like...
Still.
Yeah, for something this good to come out of something that wasn't a Nintendo EAD.
Yeah.
Like, it was really nice.
It also didn't help, or it did help that it was only made for that platform. It wasn't one of those like, oh, we need to make it for the Xbox and PlayStation as well.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like what happened to Sonic Heroes. Unfortunately. But hey, it is what it is what it is.
The Wii was also a little bit more powerful to my knowledge. It also still had GameCube Sandbox, yes.
Yes. And yeah, like, the original GameCube release of this game, it was, you know, in standard 4x3, and it didn't have bloom. But, the Wii version, you know, it pumps everything up to widescreen, and it adds a little bit of bloom, and that's kind of it. I'm running it through Dolphin at a higher resolution and with some anti-aliasing and some better texture filtering, but, like, that's kinda it.
On this totally normal Wii.
Yes, totally normal
Super
Wii.
normal.
Yes.
What you if you wanted to play this, you had to download more RAM.
Mm-hmm. Just gotta download more RAM into your Nintendo Wii device.
Nintendo Wii.
Mm-hmm. One thing about the Wii release, though, actually, was it actually does have a few, like, visual effects that were removed.
How so?
Well, the charge beam when we get it back, it has, like, particle effects, depending on what beam you're charging. They were all removed in the Wii version because of the way they were coded. Like, Samus's arm cannon is kind of in a fixed location.
Yes.
Because it just never moves. It never needed to move in the original GameCube release. In the Wii version, because the pointer can go all over the screen, so can the arm cannon, so it can point anywhere it goes. And I think when they were programming this game and they programmed the visual effects for the arm cannon, they just kind of said, we don't really need to bind this to the arm cannon, because the arm cannon's always in the same spot, so we always know where it is, so we can just, you know, put a bottle here.
Yeah.
And that just didn't translate over to the Wii very well, and they didn't have time to fix it before the release or something like that.
It happens.
Yeah.
Oh shit, a red one.
Oh god, this one's big.
Big bug. Big bug. Surface dweller.
Ouch. It's okay, I got this. Thanks, game.
Did you know?
I did.
Ah, my ass!
It's dead now. Moving on.
Cadbury cream egg.
The ball. Yay!
Did you know that when Samus turns into the morph ball, her spine goes away?
It's true.
Yeah.
See that? No more spine.
Yeah.
It's magical.
Does she... Did you ball? That's a question that I'll ask the big Metroid fan. The morph ball.
Yes.
How often is it explained how exactly it works?
Never. And in fact, there is actually a bit in this game kind of about that.
Oh lord.
And it's not for a very long time, but when we get to it, it's hilarious. It's one of the funniest things in this game.
Good.
Now we can reach so many places now. Go through small spaces. Go fast. Ooh, ow. That water gross. More reading. The surges of negative energy brought by the meteor far exceed our expectation. We Chozo have yet to find a way to rid ourselves of the great poison. All we can do now is seal it away and wait for the day when a power to purify the poison appears. However, it is already impossible to collect all the pieces of the great poison, as it is already spread, seeping into the planet and hardening. Oh, that sounds gross.
Gross.
Is that why all this duty water's all over the place?
Can't believe Kirby's tricked us into watching another Owlboy stream.
I know, right?
Unbelievable.
That seems like a good defense mechanism. Dive bomb whatever's approaching. Just explode on contact.
Recording to logbook.
Boop. Boop. Just gotta poke him in the peeper.
The what now?
The peeper.
Oh, okay.
See, these things have an eyeball. Just gotta poke him in
Ow!
it. Boink.
Asshole!
Also, just the visual effects on the visor are... it's so cool.
There are times in this game where you actually get to see eyes, don't you?
Yeah, if there's like a particularly bright flash near Samus's face, which we'll probably see a lot of when we get the charge beam, or large explosions, yeah, you see Samus's eyes. And, you know, it's funny GameCube eyes, so they look a little weird, but it's still a really cool detail, and you can even actually see them animating a little bit, too.
It's little touches, folks. Just the little tiny things that we enjoy so much.
Yep. Oh no, my missiles are low!
You only have one bullet.
It's okay. I only need one bullet. Come on. There we go. Whoop, there. But yeah, the visual design of this game is just really cool. It does kind of skew a bit towards, like, Mario level. Like, oh, we're in the desert area, there's the grass area, there's the ice area, there's the lava area. But, you know, they were really playing it safe for, like, the first game.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Yeah. We really don't know how well this will go. What in the hell is that thing?
It's a stone toad.
Oh.
Yeah, you know.
That answers that question.
There you go. But yeah, this whole part of the game is pretty front-loaded with a lot of boss fights to get your items.
Gotcha. Oh no, Scarecrow. Never mind. Oh god.
This is the incinerator drone. We are fighting a garbage disposal.
Yeah. He's just doing his job, man.
Well, you know.
All he gets that piss off the bees. Yeah.
Yep. Some new kinds of bees.
Oh god, what are these?
War wasps.
What?
They can shoot their stingers at you.
Why?
Because bees.
God.
There. So what's really funny about this game, actually, is, like, in the 2D games, you can spam missiles with, like, reckless abandon. Like, because I don't think they really changed the rate of fire for missiles from the way your beam operates in the 2D games, whereas in this game, you actually fire missiles very, very slowly if you, like, mash the missile button. But in this first game, there is a secret technique to spam missiles. I'm not going to show it off here because there's no real point in doing it here, but you'll see it eventually.
Right.
Probably during, like, the real boss of this area. Boom!
Damn, alright.
And hey, just like that. The ball.
Is it just me, or is the game sound quality kind of weird, or is it just normal for Prime? The music sounds fine, the sound effects seem off to me.
The sounds sound pretty normal to me so far.
Yeah,
and
I don't hear anything strange.
I have played this game a lot.
Yes. In case you didn't know.
Oh boy, bombs.
Ooh! Bombs.
And in the original release, you had to use Morph Ball bombs to jump. In the Wii release, they added the Spring Ball.
Oh, thank God.
Which was introduced in Prime 3. You shake the Wii remote and you just do a jump.
Okay.
This breaks a couple puzzles in Prime 1 and 2.
Whoops.
Which kind of relied on having a failure state for failing to do a bomb jump. Because, like, an advanced technique in the Prime games is doing a double bomb jump. And it was supposed to be, like, kind of tricky to pull off sometimes. In this game, it's absurdly easy, thanks to the fact that you have the spring ball. Now, the game doesn't actually let you have the spring ball until you have the Morph Ball bombs and can do the bomb jump, so...
okay. Contextually, it makes sense.
Yeah. But it's a nice feature to backport into the Prime games. Just gotta flush it all out.
Imagine Prime with current day controllers. There's so much they can do with that now.
Funny you mentioned that. One of the features of PrimeHack is not just mouse and keyboard, but you can also map to a dual stick control scheme if you want.
Ooh.
Which is pretty cool. And it is probably what I might maybe do with the Steam Deck. I am looking forward to getting one. It's gonna take forever to get one, but I am looking forward to getting one.
I mean, hell, if you were still in the Seattle area, Gabe is apparently just delivering them to people's houses in person. Because, you know, he's got nothing else to do, I guess.
After 8 months, hopefully it has been worth the wait.
Thanks, Gabe. God, the pictures of people, like, or the people taking pictures of Gabe coming up to the door with the package, and people like, you know, I don't really know how I'd feel. In this particular moment, I feel like I'm in trouble.
Yeah, you know?
Like, I did something bad on Steam, and now Gabe has come to reprimand me.
You've been banned from Steam. I decided to tell you personally.
Yeah. Not welcome anymore. Oh. Yeah.
I'm going to steal all of your Team Fortress 2 hats.
Damn it. I have been interested to see how more people will react to the free game that also came out at the same time as the Steam Deck, being Aperture Desk Job.
Oh yeah.
Because it for a game that is 30 minutes long, it does some stuff.
I mean, it is Aperture Science.
Yeah, they do what they must.
Because they can.
Because they can, yeah.
Anyway, this is an example of a...
There's
a bomb jump area. Not quite.
Ow! That's Portal.
Yep. Dang it. Now that I'm doing it on... now that I'm trying to do it
live...
live...
yeah! Yeah, no. Of course,
yes, did it!
Well, Lord knows that it would be so much easier if you weren't, you know, being watched by a pod of people.
I know. Oh, it's my controller.
Under pressure!
Ding, 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 ding. Also, yes, I do know where a lot of the power-ups are.
Ooh.
Gotta activate the runic symbols.
We're not that big or imposing pod of people. Yes. But
Yes,
you're
you
people
are.
that we care about.
Yes. With love
That
or some
matters.
elaborate relations.
Yeah. You loser.
Ah, dang it, I got knocked out.
Ah!
Ow-wee!
Love her shit. I'll never live that down. Yes, we are, Luna.
And we're proud.
Yeah. You're all weirdos!
Ooh. More words. Disaster struck suddenly. We had a vague, dark foreboding, and it became truth. A meteor appeared from nowhere, casting a dark shadow of debris over the land with the violence of its impact. Its destructive force spent, the fallen star burned itself out rapidly, and the incident should have faded into memory. But the meteor brought with it corruption. A great poison burst forth into the land, a strange energy that clawed at natural life with a ferocity. That strange, negative energy emitted from the meteor expanded to encompass Talon 4 in a night as a spider weaves a web. Some serious shit.
Okay, rhyming scheme.
I love that you actually find some of them out of order, so you have to put the pieces together.
Yes. Because, let's face it, that would happen.
Yeah. It's like you're a space archaeologist.
Spaceologist.
I'm Indiana Jones. Anyway, now that we have the charge beam, we can blow these guys up. Because that's the only thing that works on them.
Yes.
And then a nice feature of the charge beam in this game is that it draws pickups in towards you. So if you blow up an enemy that's up in the sky and it's like, oh no, I need that health that it dropped up there, you can just charge beam and it'll come right to you.
Vacuum.
Which isn't in any of the 2D games, but AM2R has it. Which is interesting. AM2R actually kind of borrows a lot from the Prime series in terms of like tone and style, which is cool.
Figures.
Prime 2D probably has it too. I can't remember. It's been a little while since I played that one. Gotta blow up all the mushrooms so their stink clouds don't get me.
I think that's just a good rule of thumb for any mushroom.
Yeah. There's
Burn
a lot
it and
of
don't stand too close unless you want to.
Yeah. There's a lot of stink cloud enemies in this game, so get ready for that.
Oh god.
Oh, hey, there it was, actually. Eyes.
Eyes. Ah!
Ow, my eyes! But yeah, it just adds to the, the feeling of like, yeah, you're really Samus behind the visor. It's really nice details like that.
It's that tiny little thing that they didn't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been completely fine if they didn't, but they did. And we appreciate it when that happens, because you kind of, the first time you ever witness it, you kind of go like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, that's me.
That's me. Blow up that wasp hive so the wasps don't come out and get me.
Yeah.
Another cool thing that this game does, I'm just gonna be constantly talking about cool things that this game does.
Go nuts.
So, like, in, like, other Metroid games, they always have, like, those destructible blocks that say, oh, this gets blown up by, like, this kind of thing if you, like, look at it with the X-ray visor or you drop a bomb on it or something like that. And it's like, okay, it has a picture of a power bomb on it, so only the power bomb can blow it up. In this game, instead, you scan elements, and if they're made of, like, a particular material, like telluric alloy, that means it can be blown up by the morph ball bombs.
Huh.
Yep. It's a really nice little detail that they did there.
You learn.
Yeah. Denzium is missiles, I believe, or power bombs. I can't remember what Denzium. Actually, to tell you the truth, you can just go into the pause menu and you can look at, let's say, missile launcher. And Samus has her own notes as well. Radion or Brimstone. Yeah, Radion or Brimstone can be blown up by the missile launcher. Which is cool. I like the idea that, like, even though Samus is a silent protagonist, it's like when you scan things with the scan visor, what you're reading is actually more like her interpretation of the readout, as opposed to what the readout actually is.
Okay.
Which, Prime 2, like, has a couple scans which, like, super imply that. Like, there's one where, like, you scan boxes, space pirate boxes, and, like, the first thing you read is, space pirates, strangely, dislike theft.
Interesting.
And it's just like, that doesn't sound like something a computer AI would say. That sounds like something Samus would say, because she's being a sarcastic bitch towards the space pirates. Like, that's weird.
Wow, you know, for a pirate, you're really not your namesake. How's that for some, Oh, God, it's a scissor.
That's one pretty fucked up Caesar.
Jesus Christ.
What is this thing?
Nightmare, that's what the hell it is.
It's a Flagra.
Flagra.
It's the source of all the poison in the ruins. So, now also, make sure you scan the tentacles, because that's a separate log entry. Prime games are kind of infamous for having multi-scan bosses, and Flagra's the first one of many.
Ow!
So, the bit of the music that you're hearing right now, in the original North American release of Metroid Prime, this music was bugged, so it would only loop like the first 5 seconds or so.
Weird.
Yeah, they fixed it for the PAL release, and which was, of course, carried over into the Trilogy re-release. But yeah, it's kind of it's a really weird bug. So like you miss.
This is a weird bug.
Yeah.
I suppose it makes sense.
Yeah.
God, this thing's freaky looking.
Yeah, the creature design in the Prime games is also solid stuff.
If this was more fleshy, this would be straight out of Dead Space.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta remember to scan this door. There we go. I did it.
Bam.
Anyway, the reason I'm shooting Flagra, even though it doesn't do any damage, you need to stun it before you shoot the mirrors up, because if it sees you flip the mirrors, it'll just flip them right back down. which is cute. I like that it's just like, oh, you gotta hit all the mirrors. It's like, there's a little bit more to it. Anyway, let's see if I can pull off the sweet missile strat. So, if you like hit the missile button and the beam button with a particular rhythm, you can just rapid fire missiles.
Yeah!
It's fantastic. I love it.
Wow, boss, that's actually smart.
I know, right?
I need that to live, asshole.
Doing the rapid fire is a little tricky with the control scheme I have set up. I have missiles set to the side buttons on my mouse. But still.
God, why won't this thing die?
Now it's got 4 mirrors. Oh, God.
God, it's so weird looking. It really is upsetting.
Yeah, because it's like, it's got a face, but it has like a skull inside the mouth. At the same time, it has like, it's distressing. Yep. Get out of the way, plants. Yeah. Just look at those eyes.
Just looking at the top of his head, and I'm like, hey, that looks like a CPU fan.
We overheated it.
Yeah.
It mined too much crypto.
It's the future! I guess you could say that they got funged.
Samus just puts on a pair of sunglasses.
On top of her helmet.
On top of the fight, yeah. Ooh.
I
found the Metroid logo.
Oh. Help.
I caught a fish this big.
Wow. Yes.
The power of shoulders returns!
Yes.
Yeah, got that various soup, baby.
It's time to kick some ass. With shoulder pads. There's a classic look we love.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, what this?
What the hell is that?
It's a pulse bamboo.
Bamboo.
Life form of raw energy. Well, it's immune to all my shots. Let me try. Oh, no! I love that. I love the idea that, like, somebody would go see that thing and it's like, oh, well, maybe charge shots will work, and they start charging their beam and it starts chasing them. It's like,
whoa, 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 take it easy, sweetheart.
Oh my god, the Oculus.
Wow, predates by quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah, long falls don't do damage, but they'll still stun Samus for a little bit.
Yeah. She is still human.
Yeah.
Ish.
Ish.
Recording to logbook.
After an extremely long fall, she just crumples and just lays on the ground for about 5 seconds. I'm okay, just give me a second.
The cries of this dying land echo in our ears as we Chozo watch the great poison seep ever further into the living pulse of the planet. The dark energy sinks into the trees and waters, devouring all life. Peaceful beasts die by the thousands. Some creatures survive, but their forms grow as twisted and evil as the force that fell from the sky. Many of these mutated monstrosities remain small enough to do little harm, but others grow enormous and threaten our very existence. One such beast defiles our sacred fountain, disgorging poison from its foul form, replacing pure flowing water with cascades of creeping death. Even in the face of such horror, we Chozo do not turn in fear. We are all that stands in the way of this great poison, and it is our duty to contain it. So, that lore is one of my favorites, because, like, you're exploring the Chozo ruins, and you find all these lore things about a great poison, and there's poisonous water everywhere. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, great poison, alright. You blow up Flagra, and all the poison's gone, and it's like, cool, I did it. And then you read that log. You read that one, and it says, by the way, the great poison made that thing, rather than the other way around. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not great.
Recording to logbook.
Oh, some more. The future is a vague thing, ever-changing and always in doubt. Even if we Chozo could gain the ability to foresee the future, it would be a hollow gift, for we could never hope to control what has yet to occur. The fountain is an example of this. The day may come when its water dries up, and there is nothing we could do to stop such a tragedy. But we do know this. Unlike the uncertain flow of water, the power of our will is strong and enduring. The will of the Chozo will never run dry.
Damn.
Hell yes.
Next entry, our will is run dry.
Oh god, what do we do?
Boink.
Yep, gotta use that double bomb jump again. Or aerial bomb jump now, I guess. They are kind of dead at... Well, they didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
They admitted we can't see the future, but, like, even if we could, what the fuck are we gonna do about it?
Yeah. There's really not much we can do. Like, we know what's gonna happen, but we don't know what causes it, per se. Could
We
be
ain't
something that happens tomorrow. Could happen for not happen for another 100 years. We don't keep calendars on the walls of everywhere in the building. What day is it? It's Tuesday. When? I don't know. Fuck.
Damn it.
Gross.
Yep. Also, a nice detail that I like is, like, the morph ball light trail changes from the power suit to the Varia suit. Changes from yellow to blue.
Yeah. I personally can't wait for the Tron suit where you leave a light wall behind.
I mean... There you go.
No, I mean like literally a light wall.
Oh, like all...
You just start making a maze.
Dude, but that would be such a good Prime power-up, though! And if they did, like, a boss fight with it, oh!
I'm just
saying.
saying.
You made me want that. You made me want that so hard.
Listen, man. Many things can be greatly improved if you just think about Tron. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased. There are wiggle beasts. No, they're leg beasts.
Actually, you know what would be kind of cool is if, like, I don't know if they would, I don't know how they would make this work. Well, I have a pretty good idea of how it would work. Like, okay, so, like, the scan visor, you use it to, like, scan things, and, like, later on in the game, you use it to, like, hack space pirate things, but it's always just, like, a normal, like, scan thing. What if, for, like, a hacking minigame, you play a little bit of, like, a 2D Metroid game? And it's, like, stylized like Tron.
Yes. Yes.
That, I want it now. That would be, I mean, sure, it would be, like, another, like, gameplay style, but I think it would add a little bit more, like... I think it would add a little bit more agency to the scan visor.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, sure, it's basically kind of, like, ripping off an idea from Nier Automata, where, like, the hacking minigame is, like, a top-down shooter. But, I mean, still, like, having some sort of hacking minigame at all would be neat.
Okay, Mr. Bias Man. Hey, that's Captain Bias Man.
Also, if they, like, actually used, like, sprite art instead of just, like, the... Because Dread looks good, don't get me wrong. But, like, if they used, like... if they used, like, zero mission sprites for the hacking minigame, that would be amazing. I would like that very much.
Yes. Get on it. Prime 4.
Yeah!
That's why it's taking so long.
I mean, if that was really the reason why it was taking so long, then it was worth it. God damn it.
I am the soy captain.
Another thing I like about this game is the... Well, okay. I like the level design in this game a lot. Like, Chozo Ruins here is basically, like, a pretzel.
Yes.
Like, this first half of the ruins is like a pretzel. Like, we're constantly, like, looping in on ourselves and over and over and over again. So, like, the flow of, like, this beginning part of the game, if you decide to, like, run back and get everything, is actually really, really good. That said, I did actually watch, Boss Keys on, this game. And, like, he says, like, a lot of the same things. Like, yeah, the level design's pretty good, except for, like, a couple things, which I agree with.
Sure.
Like, there are a couple parts of this game that could have stood to use some improvement. Like, where we're going, which is Magmore Caverns.
Magmore. More bounce to the ounce.
Magmore is probably the weakest design level in the game because it's a straight line. And it's really only used to, like, transit between one place and everywhere else. Which, yeah, that could have been better.
hey, thank you for stopping by, Ice.
Yep.
Sleep.
Sleep.
Good. Actually, go to bed.
Yes. Do it.
Please, God.
Oh yeah, we're starting to get those prime choirs going now, baby.
I also don't think I mentioned it before, but I also really loved the effect of when you have a charge beam and you fire it at something and how the world around it kind of warps.
Yeah, it's such a cool effect.
Yeah. Oh God, it's the virus.
Oh no.
Corona.
Of course, we get a sick remix of Norfair from Super Metroid for Magmore Caverns. Oh, hey. And it's the titular Magmore.
Magmore. Oh, God!
It's okay, I blew up his head. You guys want to see a sick sequence break?
Yes.
Alright, here we go. Ooh. It's the artifact of nature, hidden in a pillar. Yeah, okay. So one of the biggest criticisms of this game is the backtracking. Specifically, there's a point at the end of the game where you're expected to backtrack through all the levels you've been through and collect 12 Chozo artifacts. Now, yeah, if you save it for the end of the game, it can be a little tedious, and like, you're not really supposed to get that one at the time I did it. You're supposed to get it after you get, like, the X-ray visor.
Gotcha.
But, because I know where it is, and I can just grab it. And in fact, the strategy guide I got for this game when I originally played it, the Versus Books guide, which, RIP Versus Books, the playthrough actually tells you to get it at that point, and in fact saves the first artifact you're supposed to get all the way for last. Like, the Versus Book guide for this game was so good because the playthrough it recommended was, like, totally streamlined to, like, get everything along the way. It was really cool. I really liked that. Versus Books in general did, like, really good strategy guides.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Get in there, yes! Okay. Did it. Give me that missiles.
Yes.
All the missiles.
All them beautiful.
I'm gonna try my best to get everything. Pretty sure I still remember where everything is. Whoop. Oh no. Got me.
Well, just, I'll show you the door.
Ooh, it's hot down here. There's another sequence break you can pull off in this room, but I'm not gonna do it because it's actually, like, hard and time consuming.
Is it just me, or can you see straight through the morph ball?
I mean,
it's not just you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Samus becomes a cloud.
Yeah. Oh my
Cloud
god.
of energy.
She uploads herself to the cloud. That's how that's how she moves the morph ball. It all makes
Morph
sense
ball
now.
Plus. Subscription service.
Oh man.
It would be.
That...
The goddamn Galactic Federation.
That's how they get you.
Part Chozo, part human, part Metroid, part Cloud. What's next?
Actually, Samus isn't part Metroid yet. In this game. Because this takes place after Metroid 1, before Metroid 2.
Samus can just lower her opacity, just Chozo DNA, baby.
I mean, maybe that is true. I mean, you can actually lower the opacity of the visor if you want. You can make it so the only thing visible is the health bar.
Which I appreciate, you know.
Yeah.
More submersive experience.
Yep. Also, the fact that the HUD turns with you turning, you can turn that off too.
Ah.
It's actually called HUD lag. Anyway, here's an example of a puzzle that's kind of broken with the spring ball. You're normally supposed to do like a double bomb jump, and if you fuck up, like this breaks and you fall in the lava.
Oh, but you don't need to.
Yeah, you don't gotta worry about that anymore. And then same thing here.
Well.
Now you just have infinite tries. Whoop.
Which, you know, hey.
Yeah. You know, honestly, like, it...
Not a problem.
Once you're able to do the double bomb jump once, I think it's like, okay, yeah, we get it.
Yeah. If they had, like, a really hard mode, you just limit the spring jump.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you can decide to do that challenge if you want. Just don't use the spring jump.
Yeah.
Nobody said you had to.
What is with this series of games and elevators, man?
And now we come...
always gotta go in places.
And now we come to, like, my favorite place ever.
Oh, gee whiz, I wonder why.
Venturana Drifts is... just... mwah.
Yeah.
The visuals, the music, the design, it's also...
Aesthetics.
It's also perfect.
The easiest way to get Zero Kirby to give your game a high rating. Put some snow in there and give it the music.
Mm-hmm. But seriously though, Venturana Drifts is like one of my favorite music tracks, video games just ever. It's the piano, the chorus, the like ice crystal sound effect, whatever the fuck that is. It's so good. So good. Also, hey! New personnel must report to the South Research Facility. Failure to report will be penalized by a 30% ration cut and extra duty. Oh no. Western Temple is in Phase 2 lockdown. All projects are postponed. Under no circumstances are personnel to attempt access. All ballistics support personnel report to Research Lab Hydra. Oh no. Hydra's here.
Oh god. Final boss of Metroid Prime is the Red Skull!
Oh no!
Oh god, he's a fucking space pirate.
So that's what happened after he grabbed the space stone.
Yes.
He went to space. Became a space pirate.
Yeah. For those who don't know, canonically, Red Skull and Ridley, same guy.
Oh my god. Now I'm just picturing Ridley with a German accent.
Yeah. Voiced by Hugo Weaving.
Also, oh god. There goes the stream quality.
God, compression much?
Yep, that's what happens when you get close to those guys.
That was intense.
Mm-hmm. It's a cool effect, though. I like it. Anyway, yes, these are baby she-goths. We are going to blow them up because they want to kill us.
Understandable. I feel like that's a fair trade-off.
I just want to listen to this music.
Yeah.
We're also about to approach another thing I like about this game's design. Oh gosh, something Kirby likes about this game design. I wonder what that could be. I think it's actually like a rather like clever moment on the part of the devs. Like, it doesn't seem like much when it happens, but like if you think about it, which I of course have a lot. Like, it's actually pretty brilliant. God, more of these fucking guys. Oh, wait. More lore! As the great poison reaches ever further into the planet, we Chozo begin to feel the gnawings of despair. Before it is too late, we now make our last stand. We have begun to build a temple to contain this darkness. At its heart, we will place a cipher, a mystical lock powered by 12 artifacts and filled with as much power as we Chozo can harness. We wonder, though, even when we are done, will it be too late? And will the power of the temple and the cipher itself prove strong enough to hold back the poisonous tide that even now swells within the ground, threatening all life? By the way, scan these. Ice Shriek Bats. These are infamous because, like, after you blow them up and progress a little bit further in Phendrana Drifts, they just vanish from the game completely.
Oh, good.
So, like, they're one of the few, like, permanently missable scans. Oh god, got frozen.
You know if there was, like, any potential reason as to why they're I guess a fairly easy missable situation?
I don't know. I honestly think it's like some weird like error or something like that. Just for some reason they just don't respawn after a certain point in the game, which like you may have noticed, like, after we beat Flagra, like the boss fight beetle spawned in the main chamber of Chozo Ruins as opposed to like the regular small ones. Mm-hmm. That happens occasionally in this game where, like, after you like hit some sort of flag, enemies will spawn in places they didn't before. I think kind of just to sort of keep things interesting as you're progressing, so like things don't just like get quote-unquote too easy. Mm-hmm. And also for you to like test your powers out on something. Yeah. But I think that may have been a casualty, because that room does change. That room does have an enemy change after a certain point. Oops, I fell.
Shit.
Oh, man.
Because we love permanently missable content.
Yeah. Fortunately, in the original GameCube release, it was permanently missable. Like, you had to start a new file. In the Wii remakes, there's a New Game Plus, which keeps all your scans between playthroughs.
Huh.
Anyway, Boost Ball. This is the brilliant moment I was talking about. Is just getting the Boost Ball.
That goddamn half pipe.
Yep. Yeah. What's also cool is, like, you probably noticed a lot of half pipes earlier in the game, and this is like saying, hey, remember all those half pipes? Go back and get them. But that's not the brilliant part I'm talking about. I mean, that's still brilliant, but that's not the brilliant part I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
So, you remember the opening of the game, where, like, you start out as a fairly decently kitted out Samus.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have, like, a ton of abilities, but you have the missile launcher, you have the charge beam, you have the morph ball and morph ball bombs, and you have the grapple beam. At this point in the game, you've gotten everything back but the grapple beam. So, like, you're probably thinking, alright, the next one we're gonna get is the grapple beam. And it's not. And not only is it not the grapple beam, it's a power-up totally unique to the Prime series. This is the first time the boost ball has appeared. So that silently says, oh yeah, by the way, there's more stuff to get. And it's not all just old stuff, too. I really like it. So many creatures suffer beneath the blight upon the land, and we Chozo are no exception, but for all of our pain, we can at least believe in the promise of the future. We have come to believe that a time may never come when we can once again open the door and banish the darkness we've contained. Even so, our vigilance will forever remain. We believe that on some far-off day, a savior will come and continue what we have begun. For that savior, we will leave our ancient weapons and armor. The soul who can gather them will be the entrusted one, the only being who can reverse the evil that grows here. So that's why you can find all these power suit upgrades throughout the game.
Well, hot damn.
Yeah. Like the original North American release, they actually explicitly named Samus Aran. Like, they actually saw into the future and said, "Oh shit! Samus is coming!"
Oh, Christ.
Fuck yeah! Samus is gonna save the day! Everybody get your shit together!
Yeah. Hide the weed.
Oh no!
I don't know if she's cool.
I mean, we hope she's cool with it, but, you know, she could be a narc. You never know. I mean, she works for the Federation. She probably is the
quote works for the Federation.
Yeah, she
Does
is a
she or
freelance.
doesn't she? We're not entirely sure.
She's a bounty hunter.
Yeah. Bounty.
Gotta get that weed bounty.
Smoke space weed. Oh no. Pterodactyl.
Oh, okay, Ridley. Bye, Ridley. I've got to scan these guys. The flicker bats. They're bats who travel at subsonic speeds.
Because, you know, let's not have it be any, you know, more terrifying.
Yeah. So, this is the aspect of Magmor Caverns that is kind of weak. It's the only way to get to Phendrana Drifts.
Good.
Phendrana Drifts only connects to Magmor Caverns, which is kind of a shame. It kind of, like, puts Phendrana Drifts, like, at the end of, like, just a hallway, basically, compared to the rest of the world, which is decently interconnected enough. That is something they fix in Prime 2. Like, they add a lot more, like, shortcuts to get to, like, each area of the game from one another. Like, Prime 2 is structured like a big wheel, which I think works out pretty good. Big wheel. Yeah, big wheel. Anyway, hey, we got the boost ball. We go fast now. Oh God, you again.
Oh no.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
It's dead now. Got it. One. Oh, no, don't. You shitty bitch. Take that. Although Magmore Caverns does kind of have, like, a good design element to it, that, like, a lot of these rooms have, like, shortcuts built into them after you come back with later abilities that just make it easier to traverse. Nope, I'm just getting out of here. Bye.
I don't want to be here no more.
Well, how are we supposed to get across here? I guess we can't. But hey, at least we found another way to the Talon overworld. Which is good.
Everything's fine.
This Talon overworld's where we gotta go next. Talon overworld to blah, blah. I know how to use my words.
Speech in good English.
Yep. One thing I do wish they had ported into this game, like other Metroid games, they have like that circle and dot for when there's a room with items in it. This game doesn't do that. At the very least, like items may have like a really distinctive noise, so like you can tell when you're near one. But I kind of wish there was like a way to unlock like map points to point out where items are, because you can do that in Prime 3. Like, it doesn't have like the items on the map like from the get-go, but you can unlock that in a particular by solving a particular puzzle in the game, which is really cool. And it would have been nice if they like ported that into 1 and 2 somehow. I mean, it probably would have been like difficult to like actually put it into like the game world, but like have it as like a new game, have it as like a new game plus option.
Yeah, at least give it as the option, at least.
Yeah, because there are like some unlockables for the games. You can unlock like a screenshot mode, and in Prime 1 you can unlock the fusion suit, which is really cool.
Kickflip.
Yeah, McTwist.
Ah,
Damn it. Actually, somebody needs to mod like the combo sound effect from Tony Hawk into this. That'd be great.
Jesus Christ.
A Metroid Prime style remix of Superman.
Oh God.
Oh, hey, there's my ship.
My ship.
Anyway, this is the power-up you could get at the beginning of the game using that glitch I mentioned.
Ooh. A long fall boot.
It's not inaccurate.
Wow, that was actually alright, well noted.
Yeah, we get the space jump, which in this game is just a double jump. Like, you can't jump infinitely like you can in the 2D games. Boo, boo. But hey.
Oh shit, portal moments.
Oh shit.
Kev Johnson, we're done here.
That's the next power-up they need to give Samus as a portal gun.
Yeah. Imagine though.
Be so good.
Ow!
Ouchie.
Fucking needles.
Oh.
Impact crater.
This must be where that great poison is I've heard so much about.
Recording to logbook.
Oh, pirate data. Field team reports are in on an aged structure of alien design built on the surface of Talon 4. Studies show this structure projects a containment field. This field bars access to a prime source of energy within a deep crater. Science team believes the field is powered by a number of strange Chozo artifacts. We have found some of these relics, and studies on them have begun. As this field could hinder future energy production operations on Talon 4, we must dismantle it as soon as possible. If this means the destruction of the Chozo artifacts, it will be done.
Well, damn.
Yeah, these pirates. They want in. Oh. Oh. Gotta get more lore. More lore! Throughout our living nightmare, as we battle with this unyielding darkness, we Chozo see a light. This light glows with promise, chasing the shadows cast by the great poison and purifying that which has grown toxic. It is strange, though. At times, it looks to our eyes as if the light coalesces into the figure of a woman. Burning brightly, the luminescence descends from space, then retreats back into the infinite blackness from whence it came. When this prophecy comes to pass, when the light recedes, the Chozo's long vigilance of containment will finally come to an end.
Am I the woman?
Maybe.
Am I the woman?
Possibly. The containment of the great poison. This task has fallen to the Chozo, and we will not flee from our duty, even as we suffer with the land and its creatures. We will pour our will into the 12. The artifacts that, when brought together, form the lock that holds this great evil at bay in the depths of the planet. This lock must stand up to all who might come to assault it. To preserve the power of the seal, to protect it from those who would meddle for their own designs, we will spread the artifacts across the land, hiding them from prying eyes. The lock must never open until the day comes when this disaster can finally be put right. Oh, at least they explain. At least they explained why they hid it all over the place. They didn't hide this one too good, though.
No.
Well, that's 2 out of 12. Good start. So this is where you would scan all of these, and they give you hints on where to find the other artifacts.
Ah.
There's some that don't have things you can scan, but like that's because those are artifacts that you basically automatically get. So that, or they just don't want to spoil one of the later areas in the game yet.
Very possible.
Yeah, that might be.
In retrospect.
Yeah.
I get it. Retro Studios retrospect.
Yes, that's what I meant. I'm a subtle motherfucker.
But yeah, fortunately, I basically already know where they all are, so
That
we'll
helps.
just be sweeping them all up as we go, basically. Also, want to grab this while we're here. Hidden right behind us, my gun. Did you know about this starship?
Maybe.
Hang on. You know, Samus, I don't think it's a good idea to leave a bright orange spaceship, you know, out in the open like that on a planet filled with space pirates that are hostile to you.
Yeah. Like the James Bond car.
God damn it.
Just starts attacking people. Adam just takes over.
Adam's in this game? I had no idea. And whatever. I can take it. I got 4 energy tanks and the various suit. I'm good.
A few moments later.
Why did I allow this to happen? Why?
We literally told you not to, Samus.
What? Huh?
Was I supposed to know that you actually meant it? Samus. You're an idiot.
No, you.
Shut up, man. You're dead.
Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. Actually, if we take Other M as canon, Adam's not dead yet. Oh, no. I fell in the ouch!
The red hot Nick ouch juice.
No, not the pizza sauce.
Soup. It's chili.
Is chili considered a soup? The world must
Samus,
know.
stop falling in the ouch.
You jinxed me! You jinxed me, Adam! You jinxed me!
Asshole.
Samus, I didn't authorize jinxing. That corridor has auspiciously cracked windows. That might be a reference to something from Super Metroid.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Yeah. Owie. The poo gas. What I find interesting is that the charge beam does actually have, like, a much slower travel than the regular beam does.
More mass.
Yeah. That makes sense. God, explosions on those got some range.
Samus just starts talking to Adam in her head, being alone in space with no one to talk to has got to her.
God, so she's becoming Aloy then.
Lord.
I haven't played Forbidden West yet, but I've heard that the problem some people had with her never shutting up in Zero Dawn has gotten worse.
Shit. Well, I guess I gotta go over there now and make sure that everything's alright.
Yep. I mean, I liked Aloy in Zero Dawn. I thought her talking to herself was fine because, like, it made sense. She's been alone for, like, years and years and years with only Rost to keep her company.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, she basically solves puzzles for you sometimes in Forbidden West. It's like, I'd really rather you not do that.
Yeah. Turn it off.
Let's keep that inner monologue inner sometimes, shall we? Right.
Sometimes all you have to have the character say is, how do I get up there? And that's it.
Yeah. Still need to play that game. Which one, Zero Dawn or Forbidden West?
Yes.
Dang it. Because Zero Dawn's good. I really liked it.
Yeah.
One of the few open world games I didn't get, like, ridiculously bored with. Oh boy, what if Metroid Prime 4 is an open world game?
Oh boy.
And making me worry.
How would you make an open world Metroid Prime game, like, like functioning in your mind?
Hmm.
If you were at the helm.
So yeah, if Halo could be an open world game, anything is possible. That's true. Well, it's interesting because like Metroid is a series. Excuse me.
Oops.
Just taking a swig.
Yeah.
Metroid is a series like basically built around like get to place, not be able to get out of place, find item that lets you get out of place, use item to get out of place, use item to reach new places that you couldn't get to before, like rinse and repeat, essentially.
Right.
And like to do that in an open world game, I mean, you could do it, you can make it happen, but like if you wanted to like do it like a full like 3D game like Metroid Prime, I think well some compromises would have to be made. Like if you're paying attention to like the structure of this game in particular, you'll notice like a lot of it is designed like big room hallway, just to like ease loading on the GameCube.
Right.
So like you wouldn't really be able to do that, and in fact I think building a game with like discrete rooms would probably not work. So like the whole idea of like missile doors and whatnot would kind of become obsolete.
Right. I wonder how much of that you could use, like Breath of the Wild as an example of, you know, you're exploring like a genuinely uncharted planet, like unknown by the Federation or whatnot.
I think you could make that work, especially if like, depending on the abilities you choose to kit Samus out with, like,
oh god, it's a behemoth.
Oh yeah, it's a.
Ow!
It's a regular size Sheegoth.
Sheegoth.
Yep.
The kit that you have Samus in, you were saying?
Yeah, so like, for example, like, you could use the grapple beam as sort of like a key to reach certain places, or or the boost ball, you know, with the half pipes and whatnot. So it could be done, but like, I think there would be a bit less of like, oh hey, this door requires this beam in order to open, you gotta go find this beam, and it would be based more around like unlocking traversal abilities over like abilities you can use in combat. Perhaps.
Yeah. Again, it's doable.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of things you have to take into consideration.
And I think like I was gonna say, I think like having areas separated by like elevators and shuttles would just not work.
I think it would depend. I think it would be, if you had. So let me ask this question now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you still have an open world if you have like designated areas of the map, like the temples and stuff like that? I'd imagine, realistically.
Yeah. Like, I would be okay with, like, there being, like, some kind of, like, okay, you're in an open world, and then like, having, like, basically dungeons to explore. Because that would be cool. Like, basically, you'd have, like, a set of, like, imagine if, like, this game became open world.
Right.
Talon Overworld and Chozo Ruins could basically be, like, well, Chozo Overworld, or Talon Overworld, Chozo Ruins, and Phendrana Drifts could basically be consolidated all into like one giant open area without like so much separation in them.
Right.
And then like Magmore Caverns would be like, you know, where you find dungeons. Like there would be a dungeon that's the Magmore Caverns, or there'd be a dungeon that's a later area in the game that we haven't gotten to yet. Or like another later area in like Phendrana Drifts here that we haven't gotten to yet. That would be a dungeon. And in fact, it basically is a dungeon already. So, yeah, I feel like that would work. But, you know, you wouldn't have, like, okay, to get to Phendrana Drifts, you gotta take the elevator out of Talon Overworld and go to Magmore Caverns, and then travel through Magmore Caverns a bit to get to Phendrana Drifts. It would just be like, okay, you just go north this many and you're in Findrana Drifts now.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest crux of a lot of open world games, just conceptually, is how you lose a significant amount of your ability to guide the player via conveyance.
Yeah.
Like, you can still do it, but you know, people will obviously be a little bit hesitant of that because it's like, it's supposed to be open world. I don't want to be told where to go. It's like, yeah, well, it can still be open world and it's told where to go.
Yeah.
This means that at any given point in time, you can just walk left forever.
Yeah.
Until you fall off a cliff. Yeah, it's doable, but there'd have to be a lot of R&R.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just taking the Prime formula as it stands right here and right now, and then trying to like formulate it into an open world, I don't think that would work. There would have to be a lot of node changes that you'd have to make.
Could you use Samus's ship for faster travel? That's kind of what happens in Metroid Prime 3. In fact, Prime 3 is like sort of a Metroid take on an open world game. In fact, both Prime 3 and Prime Hunters kind of provide an example of quote-unquote open world Metroid. Because Prime 3, theoretically, you can go to whatever planet you want to from the beginning of the game, but the way the game's structured, you have to do Brio first, and complete Brio all the way before you can go to Elysia. But you can still go to Elysia whenever you want. It's just
the Great Plateau, you know.
Yeah.
Some things they at least want to make sure that before you head out into this vast open plain that you get at least some of the basics down.
Yeah. But
one option, make a new Game Plus variant, where you can just go right from the get-go, go wherever the hell you want.
Yeah. But, like, in general, in lieu of save stations, it's mostly landing pads that you dock Samus's ship at, and that basically acts as your fast travel system. You can get in the ship and you can travel anywhere you want to from there.
Yeah.
Oh. Prime Hunters, well, I don't know if I'd say Prime Hunters is like open world, but in Prime Hunters you basically have all of Samus's abilities from the start, except for the various elemental beams.
Right.
And like you have to unlock all of the planets. Like, you go to one planet first, you go to another planet next, then you unlock 2 planets at the same time, and you have to do those before you, like, unlock the second phase of each planet, but then you can do them in any order you want after that, essentially. But the worlds themselves are extremely linearly designed. Yeah. So, I kind of hesitate to call that an open world, even though you can basically choose when and where you want to go whenever.
Sure.
But at the same time, I kind of appreciate that sort of design for Prime Hunters, because Prime Hunters was a DS game.
Yes. And
it was trying to give you the Metroid Prime experience on the DS.
You know, whoops and woof. That is a tall glass to try to gulp down.
I think it succeeded at that about as well as anyone could have expected it to. I mean,
for what it is.
It also wasn't developed by Retro Studios. It was developed by Nintendo Technologies R&D, the American division, the same guys who made the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games. And I mean, yeah, it's got some of the elements of Metroid, like you find energy tanks and ammo tanks and whatnot throughout the worlds, and it's got the scan visor. And in fact, you actually have to use the scan logs to solve a puzzle in order to unlock the true ending of the game, which none of the other Prime games really do that. I mean, I know we scanned, like, the lore that says, oh, hey, here's where you find all the keys to the final dungeon of the game, but that's not really a puzzle. That's just, okay, here's where you go and how you do everything. Damn it, I missed that jump. Shit. That's okay. But that's not really, that's not really a puzzle. That's just, okay, you gotta go here, and then you gotta find the thing, and you gotta do that 12 times.
Yeah.
Prime Hunters is actually like you have to actually like read like all the lore and kind of like decipher a sequence that you have to do in like the first phase of the final boss to unlock the second phase of the final boss, which I think is pretty cool, honestly. And the fact that like none of the other Prime games do that, I think is a missed opportunity, maybe?
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, I do like the, you know, detective aspect of the scan log as it is. Like, oh, you're discovering what happened to this ancient civilization, or you're learning more about, like, the space pirates and what they're doing here. Like, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been cool if there was something where it's like you have to piece together these scan logs in order to solve something. It would give the scan visor more agency in gameplay.
Yes.
Which, again, kind of ties into that idea we had earlier about the, like, the hacking minigame.
Yes.
Oh, here's another potentially...
Oh, God! Ah!
This is a shadow pirate. They are normally invisible. This is the only one in the game that isn't, so you have to scan him. If you don't scan him, you lose him.
I mean, there's a nightmare scenario.
Yep.
Hello? That full body, like...
Samus is a Power Ranger, apparently.
Yeah.
Hell yes, the space pirate theme kicks ass. Also, I completely glossed over the fact that we got the wave beam. We got the wave beam.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Because I noticed, like, it's quite a different looking beam.
Yeah.
Compared to everything else.
So, in this game, as opposed to the beam stacking like they do in a Super Metroid, they're all separate beams that you just activate individually. Like, oh hey, here's the power beam, here's the wave beam, and they have elemental properties. So the wave beam is now electric.
Ah, it's electric. You can shoot it. It's electric. Boogie woogie woogie.
And it opens purple doors.
How could you lose the Shadow Pirate? You got to cherish him.
But yeah, the wave beam is electric. It doesn't travel through walls like it would in Super Metroid, but it does have like limited tracking abilities. So like if you're locked onto something, it will actually track the target, as opposed to other beams which don't.
Gotcha.
It also doesn't shoot as fast as the power beam does, and I think it also takes a little bit longer to charge. But yeah, that electricity that's like pulsing through the arm cannon as you charge it, that's not in the Vanilla Trilogy release.
Ah.
But it looks so cool, though.
And it's also... Is it the beam that is introduced that shows that it's able to destroy these things?
Kinda.
Could the other one do that?
The other one could not do that.
Okay.
So, if you actually read their scan logs for those things, it like mentions that they're weak to electrical attacks.
Ah.
And here's Research Lab Hydra. We found it.
Hail Hydra.
I mean, it does kind of look like they got some sort of super soldier program going on.
They really
here.
do. Alright, they got that all up in your business. Jesus.
Sometimes the tracking on the beam goes a little fucky. Anyway, I hope you're ready for all the pirate lore.
Oh lord.
Our initial tests exposing Talon 4's indigenous parasites to Phazon appears to be successful. Increases in strength, size, and aggressiveness are common in all test subjects, as well as unforeseen evolutions like additional poison sacs within the abdomen, and the appearance of a second ring of mandibles in several subjects. These creatures were chosen because of their resilience, and it appears possible that, given enough exposure to Phazon, They may one day be able to survive on any planet we transport them to. Our methods will have to be refined. We currently have a 100% extinction rate after the 4th infusion period, and most survivors of the 3rd infusion stage are so violent and uncontrollable that they have to be euthanized. Even still, we remain hopeful that further experimentation will result in success. So, yeah, these guys are up to some pretty fucked up shit right now. We have codified the newfound energy source as Phazon, a V index or 5 index? I really can't tell if that's supposed to be a 5 or a V. Space pirates are weird. Yeah. Mutagen, of which we have very little reliable data. Indications point to a meteor of unknown origin expelling Phazon into the environment. This material appears to possess the power to mutate organic life forms sufficiently to withstand its poison. These mutations appear promising, with abrupt evolutionary leaps appearing in single-generation reproduction. Plans to establish a full science team on Talon 4 are being finalized. These guys like the juice. Yeah. Mining operations have begun near the crater where Phazon appears to be most concentrated. Daily Phazon yields have increased 44%, and our mining system becomes more streamlined as personnel and equipment flows increase. Several incidents of Phazon-induced madness have been reported, prompting augmented life support regulations in the deeper chambers. Symptoms include loss of equilibrium, erratic respiration, muscle spasms, and in the most extreme cases, hallucinations. A timeline reassessment for the refinery operation is recommended, as the material proves more unstable than initial analysis indicated. That don't sound too good.
Yikes.
Most terraforming and retrofitting of security checkpoints on Talon 4 is complete, but we continue to research the alarming epidemic of breaches by local creatures. Door records show no unauthorized entries, so we must presume the creatures are either slipping in undetected during daily personnel moves, or else finding their way in through subterranean tunnels. We have found many small breaches of this latter sort and plugged them wherever we can, but it is unlikely we will ever achieve full extermination within our current timetable. Sucks to be you guys, I guess. I don't know. Jesus. And yeah, there's a lot of, like, additional flavor text that you can find that just, it doesn't, like, get added to the logbook, but life signs normal. Pulse at 140%. That doesn't sound good. That's what Phazon is. It's just super caffeine.
Yeah.
Phazon fluid bath levels at 70%. Ew. Gross. Guy hanging out on the ceiling thought he could get me, but he didn't, because I'm Samus, bitch.
You literally could have struck at any time while you were reading.
I know, right? Well, that'd be rude.
I don't want to bother her.
I mean, shit, she might be really impressed by what we've been doing here. Maybe she has some tips. You can tell which ones get added to the logbook because they're red instead of orange. Ah! Ooh. Massive absorption capacity influx. That thing looks gross. I also love the fucking electric guitar. They removed that from all the future games. It makes me sad. Research outpost Glacier 1 in the Phendrana Drifts region of Talon 4's mountains is operating at 85% capacity. Sub-zero temperatures have made the Metroid sluggish and easy to control, even those well into Phazon and fusion cycles. Not the right god. Cold containment stasis tanks are sufficient for the juveniles, but some of the larger Metroids have been moved to quarantined caves for safety purposes. Security doors remain an issue as malfunctions due to ice occur every day. Large predators in the wastes are also a concern as they continue to kill personnel and breach secure areas.
Unfortunately, it has become clear that our containment teams cannot neutralize all of them without a vast increase in munitions and soldiers.
Help.
We need more.
Fucked, man.
We need more dudes. Send us more dudes. Woo! I like those ceiling doors because when you jump through them, like, you don't have to double jump. Samus just, like, flies straight up. Oh, here's a very cool room. Ah!
Oh, God.
I gotcha! Owie!
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
very cool room.
Another thing, charge beam shots from the wave beam can actually paralyze enemies for a little while. Very handy, very useful. I did it, I won.
I won.
Yeah! We're gonna find out why this room is cool in a second.
Ah.
I mean, first we got...
It's literal, I swear to God.
we got more pirate lore.
Ugh.
Scans of the Spiral Sector detected a massive energy spike emanating from a Wanderer-class planet identified as Talon 4. Scout reconnaissance was immediately dispatched to the center of the spike, a landmass at heading mark 400802, returning with planetary samples and atmospheric imaging. Analysis shows the energy source to be an unstable radioactive material of enormous potential. We are unable to form an accurate risk assessment at this time, but we are unlikely to find an energy source this powerful again. Analysis will continue, but currently Talon 4 appears to be a viable secondary headquarters.
Recorded to logbook.
Phazon mining is underway, several garrisons have been established, and terraforming of the Chozo ruins is underway. This is supposed to explain why there's doors everywhere.
Ah.
Security systems are operational, and science team continues to make progress in their biotech research. The Fendrana Drifts have proven to be an optimal location for research headquarters, and soon it will be joined by a fully operational combat base and starport. If Command's predictions are half true, we shall rise to dominance in this sector within a decacycle. Truly, these are glorious times. Glory to the space pirates, baby.
Sure.
Anyway. Oop. I didn't mean to do that yet.
Nope.
Oh.
Well,
Sometimes the wave beam does just, like, go around boxes when you try to shoot them with it. See, we're building one of those giant, animusic instruments.
dude, you have no idea how badly I was thinking that. I'm like, it even like matched up with the beat and everything.
Yeah, it did. I love it.
Come on, man. One of the bosses in here is all music based.
Oh, that would be so cool. And Samus is one of the marbles used for the marimba.
Jesus Christ.
Also, yes, it makes sense to have these mechanisms that are activated by a morph ball going really fast. What are you talking about?
That's fine.
It's a planetarium!
Oh. It's a map.
Corneria, fourth planet of the Lilac system. But hey, look at this.
To logbook.
You can scan Talon 4. It's 5.1 trillion teratons.
Thank heavens.
Ecosystem studies indicate that Talon 4 was a biological paradise prior to the impact of an extraterrestrial object. But remains of the biosphere is slowly fading due to exposure to Phazon radiation. At current rate of decay, Talon 4 will be a barren Class 13 wasteland in approximately 25 years.
That sucks.
Yeah. Twin Tabula, 4.1 trillion teratons.
planet is best known for twin fever, a disease caused by a viral strain native to twin tabula. In the early stages of the disease, victims suffer from double vision. When the twin sight fades, the victim is near death. That's terrifying.
That's weird.
Warmind 2! An uninhabitable wasteland savaged by nuclear dust storms and constant seismic upheavals. How is a dust storm nuclear? Billiam. Quarantine! Atmosphere is rife with Midiralis, a sentient gaseous global exterminator virus. Holy fucking shit.
Recording to logbook.
Hey, it's planet Zebes.
Zibs.
It's in the same solar system as Talon 4, apparently.
Sure.
Planet's crust is primarily earthic ore, making it ideal for subterranean construction. A Class 19 planet, Zebes is inhospitable to most bioforms. The world was considered unremarkable until it became a base for space pirate forces. I mean, sure. Samus also grew up there. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah. Technically, a dust storm could be nuclear if the particulates were somehow small enough to split one another upon impact of one another, causing fission.
You know what? That actually sounds absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. Basically, microscopic, extremely lethal explosions are happening every goddamn microsecond of every goddamn day.
God fucking damn. That would definitely cause some violent seismic upheaval.
Yeah.
To be sure. And
Valencia.
yeah, Luna. Basically, yes, a sentient fart gas of death is on that other planet. Genuinely terrifying idea.
Yeah.
Like, that's the sort of horror. That's the sort of like horror thing I'd expect to like find in Mass Effect. Like, oh yeah, Cerberus has been working on this sentient gas cloud of death. It's like, okay,
little tiny nanomachines that when they get impaled by a mortal creature of organic compounds, it will literally say, "Okay, you're made of this. I know how to take this apart. I'm gonna start doing that now."
Son.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's basically what Fox Die is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck.
Oh yeah, we got the super missile. So, in this game, as opposed to super missiles being a separate item, they are instead a charge combo. In order to use it, you have to charge up your charge beam, and then fire a missile while it's charged. I fire a big missile that costs 5 missiles to use.
Well, Mass Effect does have those nanny machines.
Nani?
Nani?
Shepard. Nani?
Eh?
But yeah, super missiles pretty useful in this game because they have the homing capability of regular missiles, and they are super ultra powerful.
Nanny machines.
In fact, if you use it on a space pirate,
Well,
without a, yeah, okay, well, if you use it on a space pirate, boing, they just get fucking launched.
Ow.
Ah! 12 points. Ah!
You alright, Samus?
These ones can fly!
They fly now!
Flying pirate. While their missiles are extremely potent, their jetpacks can be even more so. If the pack fails, they will make a suicide strike.
Oh, good. That is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, fortunately, just hitting him with a super missile just blows him up. Just explodes them instantly. They have no time. But, let's say you do decide to shoot him down normally. Yep. they will.
Well.
they'll try to dive bomb you anyway. They're not good at it.
Yeah.
But bless their hearts, they're trying.
Yeah. Tactical nuke incoming. There it goes.
It is kind of funny watching them ragdoll around. I'm gonna hurl!
That's the least of your worries. They're going to explode.
Yeah, but at least I might take Samus with me.
You're not even close. It's the thought that counts!
Prime 2 features more flying pirates, and the log entry for them says death before dishonor.
Jesus Christ.
It's pretty hardcore.
That is... Oh.
Hey, Samus, how's it going?
The baby.
Baby. The wee little bubbo.
Oh, donuts before death, how about that? You got me beat there, Zen.
Energy-based parasitic predator. The dominant species of planet SR388. Ugh.
Why did you let it out?
I did it! It got out on its own!
You shot the thing!
So, Metroids in the Prime series are actually nowhere near as threatening as they normally are.
Oh.
You don't even need to freeze them to blow them up anymore. Though they are still extra weak to ice attacks, of course.
You blew up my pet!
Oh.
You asshole!
The reconstruction of Geoform 187, codenamed Ridley, was recently completed. Oh boy.
So sad.
After his defeat on Zebes, Command ordered a number of metagenetic improvements for him. Though aggressive, we were able to implement these changes in a cycle. The metamorphosis was painful, but quite successful in the end. Early tests indicate a drastic increase in strength, mobility, and offensive capability. He's really good at swearing at people now.
Ah.
Cybernetic modules and armor plating have been added as well. We believe our creation, now called Meta Ridley, will become the mainstay of our security force, a job he will certainly relish. I mean... okay. Sure. If you say so. More power to you guys. That's cool. Oh, so much lore. Confidence is high regarding Phazon applications. We know enough about Phazon now to begin combining with space pirate DNA. They're making super soldiers now. The codename for this venture will be Project Helix. Preliminary studies indicate that Phazon infusion could produce radical new pirate genomes. Benevolent mutation levels are high in current test subjects. Phazon madness is a concern, but refinements in the infusion process should reduce or neutralize the odds of mental degeneration. So, they're creating the Green Goblin formula.
Jesus Christ.
Follow the cold shiver that's running down your spine. All of a sudden, Ridley just shows up out of nowhere. What do you think about my generous proposal? It's you who's out, Ridley. Out of your mind.
Out of your mind.
Wrong answer!
Actually, there is a fun thing you can do in this room, because there are Metroids in these other tanks. You can actually blow up the tanks from above and have the Metroids kill the space pirates. Of course, then you have to kill the Metroids right after, but...
God.
I like that they have that as an interaction in the game. Find more.
Recorded to logbook.
Metroid Dissection continues to provide more questions than answers.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Guy just has a Metroid open on the table.
The fuck is this shit?
Our research teams have isolated the energy conduits that run from the invasive twin mandibles to the energy core in the creature's quadripartite nucleus, but the manner in which a Metroid actually extracts the life force from its prey remains an utter mystery. The victim does not lose blood or any other vital fluids, and yet the Metroid extracts energy. Identifying this energy is our central problem. It takes no physical form, and yet without it the victim dies. We will continue to research this matter as the isolation of this life-giving essence could be the key to our ascendance. Is this game trying to say that Metroids eat your soul?
Yes.
Recorded to logbook.
But I need that, apparently.
Don't worry. You were born with one.
Ah. So I don't need to bypass evolution then.
Yeah.
Great.
Jesus Christ.
Studies of Metroid biology continue, though with limited progress. It seems likely that we will be much more successful using the Metroids for our means, rather than trying to reproduce their powers. If they could be adequately tamed, we would have no need of a proper understanding of their metabolism. A small force of disciplined Metroids could wipe out entire armies, and once we find a way to shield them from cold containment weapons, they'll be invincible. Furthermore, if we could harvest the energy they'd consumed, we would have a near-limitless source of power at our disposal. I mean, that is why they are called the Ultimate Warrior.
Yes.
Oh. That's a beetle, but it's ice.
Oh.
They aren't much tougher than regular beetles. I like seeing that guy just standing at the console, occasionally hitting a button to try to look busy.
Yeah. Great. Now it's like Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight Prime.
I mean, that just sounds cool as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
That just sounds dope.
Give it to me now. Ooh. A sweet
yes.
pair of shades.
The polarizing filter for your visor.
Sweet. Now I can tilt my head and look at consoles and have them look funny.
Yeah. And you can look in water without the sun being in the way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. And my car's windows will look weird, so it looks like the sky is in front of the clouds for some reason.
What
is this optical illusion, and why does it
How
hurt
do you
me?
explain that to people? Well, it turns the sun off with reflections, but not all of them, just most of them.
It's
What?
like that. It's like that
know.
optical illusion George Carlin tries to explain. You know that thing with the chain link fence where it goes? How
What
do
is
they do
that? How do they do that?
I would like to know how they did that.
You've been sitting on a train with another train right next to you, and one of them starts to move, and you can't tell which one it is. You ever try to pick up a suitcase you thought was really heavy, but it wasn't? And you go, And for a split second, you feel really strong. You ever been going up a flight of stairs and you would swear there was one more step?
Oh god, all the time.
And so you kind of go, ugh.
Sometimes it even starts at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah. Or the same thing happens when you're going downstairs. You could swear there was one more step before the platform. Holy shit! My hips are in my chest.
That man was brilliant.
That man, like, that dude was just a genius. Like, goddamn. His quick wit was one thing, but just, God, the philosophy that he had as well was just something else to behold.
Anyway, we have the thermal visor now.
Yeah. Now you got gradient maps.
Yeah, and it constantly makes this noise.
Now that you say that, now I hear it.
Yeah, right? I don't know why they made it do that. It's weird.
When you trip on something that's like a millimeter higher than you expected. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever walk into one of the rooms in your house, and then you can't remember why you went in there? I love telling that one to people because everyone's just like, yes!
Yep. Happens all the
God,
time.
it sucks!
Especially with the kitchen, for some reason.
Yeah. And you just sort of stare at the countertop for a little while, and you replay the last maybe 30 seconds in your mind.
What's crazy is that it's the fucking kitchen, so, like, why else are you going in there?
It was for something specific. Very specific.
I can't remember.
But not specific enough to where you remember it. Oh, that's right, I was being chased by a serial killer.
Hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
Well, at least Samus's arm cannon is hot.
Yeah. Ever get that cold spot on the back of your throat when you're eating ice cream? There's nothing you can do about it because you can't reach back there to rub it, so you just have to sit there and wait for it to go away. And then it does. Then what do? Eat more ice cream! What are we, fucking stupid?
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it, baby!
Yeah.
You never had that
He
cold
describes
spot in...
it. He describes it as the cold spot on the back of your throat, but most people would know it as, like, you know, fucking, why is it escaping me? Brain freeze. It relatively is the same sensation.
Yeah.
You ever eat ice cream and choke on it for no particular reason? Say we can say that because I'm pretty sure Flair isn't here anymore.
I watched the VOD, though.
Shit. In 3 days' time, Flair's just gonna be like, hey!
Wait a second!
Asshole!
I feel attacked.
Yeah. You should have felt the ice cream in the back of your throat.
Damn.
Yeah.
You ever look at your watch, and then you don't know what time it is?
Yeah.
So you look again, and you still don't know the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you look a third time. Somebody says, what time is it? You go, I don't know.
That one was way too relatable for me.
You ever notice how sometimes all day Wednesday, you keep thinking it's Thursday? And it happens over and over again all day long. And then the next day, you're alright again.
And you never think, man, it's weird that there were 2 Thursdays in a row.
Yeah. You ever notice how awful your face looks when you're in a restroom with a fluorescent light? Every cut, scrape, scratch, scar, bruise, boil, pimple, zit, wart, welt, and abscess you've had since birth all seem to come back at the same time. And all you can think is, I gotta get the fuck out of here! You ever have to sneeze when taking a piss? It's frightening, isn't it? It's frightening because actually you can't do it. It's physically impossible to sneeze while pissing. Your brain won't let it happen. Your brain says, stop pissing! We're gonna sneeze now! Because your brain knows. You might blow your asshole out.
I love the idea
Some
that...
of us can multitask, Jesus.
I love the idea that, like, these 2 space pirates were having a conversation while one of them was just hanging to the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's like, so, hey, how you doing?
Oh, yeah, I got my ticket to go see the Batman. Yeah.
Oh. It's weird how we have that in space.
Yeah, IMAX. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shipping till fucking forever, man.
I imagine.
Yeah.
So, like...
Oh, wait a minute, is that Samus?
I was gonna ask out Janie!
I love ragdoll physics.
Yes. This must be the Havoc engine.
Was the Havoc engine even a thing back then yet?
No, not even remotely. Because what year was Prime?
2002?
Yeah, no, not even.
Okay.
Because I think Havoc, the first ever instance of the Havoc engine was 2004? Like, ever being used, I think? Don't know what game, I'm just pulling this out of thin air.
It's absolute bullshit from a hellish Snapple Cap, don't it? Hey, speaking of Snapple Caps, I got one right here.
Ooh.
An avocado is actually a large berry.
Thanks, Snapple.
I love how they put real facts in quotes.
Yeah. Real.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
You're gonna have to look it up yourself.
Yeah. Buccarino.
Anyway, the wave beam can also activate these terminals hidden inside the walls. That's like the closest you get to the wave beam penetrating walls in this game.
Gotcha. Oh my god, Snapple in real life.
Yeah. I sure did.
Oh, you real Snapple knuckling, baby. Wee!
Yeah, you know,
That
just
was
casually
fun.
going through a skeleton. That's cool. I'm actually drinking the kiwi strawberry Snapple. It's real good.
Ah.
I'm sure nothing untoward will happen in here.
I am once again drinking brisk because I am a creature of habit. But you know what I genuinely miss? Something I haven't had in like what is now going on over a year.
What?
Because it's just not stocked anywhere in this part of the country anymore. Sobe. I miss my lizard drink, man. Where is it?
Samus is
Just sort of vanished.
Where'd it go?
Stone Chalice.
I'm just kidding, it's Thardus. You know, Thardus, an animated sentient creature of stone charged with phazon radiation.
Of course.
So, the trick with Thardus, that the first time I played this game, I had no idea you were supposed to do. You're supposed to use the thermal visor to find its weak point. And then hit it with... You don't have to hit it with super missiles, but that's faster. When I was a stupid dumb kid, I just shot the rocks blindly until I found the one that turned red when you hit it. Yep. And then when it's rolling around, you can lay morph ball bombs and they instantly break the armor. Yeah. Which I also did not know as a kid, so... Level noises and things. Also, when it's when the rock is exposed to blue like that, it actually overloads the thermal visor, so you can't see anything if you have it on. So that's why, like, the screen turned orange for a split second. Anyway, after a while, it does this.
Well, that's a bit dramatic.
It summons, I guess, a snowstorm, is what this is supposed to be.
Of course, yeah.
It's just really fucking bright now.
Yeah,
And
shit,
blue.
this thing.
And loads of bloom, thanks to the Wii. Anyway, yeah, Thardus is not a hard boss, especially if you've been stocking up missiles. And even then, like, every once in a while he'll, like, throw projectiles at you that you can shoot in order to get missiles. He's a lot more challenging in the pinball game.
What a statement.
Oh, yeah,
Really,
Metroid Prime.
a feast for the mind.
Yeah, Metroid Prime Pinball, everybody's favorite Metroid game.
Yeah.
Now his big, dumb, stupid face.
Yeah.
The lantern jaw that could light up this entire room, which I guess technically it kind of did, so there you go. And it especially is now.
Ow. Ow.
Now yeah, he doesn't do a whole lot of damage.
Oh, gee.
Oh, dang it.
Oh, stop being so dramatic. Ah!
Fuck!
You lose all your power again.
No! Well, I never gave up and I never surrendered, so I beat it.
I got what you put down. The spider ball.
The spider ball. Yeah, from Metroid 2, the spider ball. Also, it looks cool as hell.
It reminds me of that, there was a toy that existed when we were still in high school, which was, it was basically, it uses the same, like, ripcord as a Beyblade, but it was a wheel.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
You just rip on this thing, and it's literally just a tire that, like, then had the ability, like, it goes 30 miles an hour!
Whoa!
In a straight line.
But, yeah, you can use it to attach to magnetic tracks. So you can't use it on every single wall like you could in Metroid 2, but, I mean... You could use it to get to places. Also, they do some really cool stuff with the Spider Ball in 2 and 3.
Flywheels, that's what the hell these things were called.
Ah.
It literally is, like, I shit you not, I'll post it both in this directly to you, but I'll also post it in the chat. It literally is just a goddamn Beyblade, but it's a tire instead. Boss, what are we supposed to do with all these old Beyblade toys? I got an idea.
Make a live-action movie out of them. Wait.
Yeah. What?
Oh, Samus, don't be such a wimp. It's just a little bit of fire, it's fine.
I also love how, I love this because in the commercials that they did for these flywheels, they said kids can rip up to 200 scale miles per hour. Fine.
Okay.
Fine. I know what you're doing. Fine.
See, all you have to do is now make it, like, in the verse, like, the size of a planet, and now it's like, it could go faster than the speed of light to scale.
Yeah. It's also really funny because you watch the commercials and they have them doing like, yeah, you can race them on dirt bike tracks. They go so fast they skim over water like Jesus. Like, wow.
Exactly like Jesus.
Yeah.
You know the part in the Bible where it described Jesus not walking on water but spitting so fast he was standing on top of the one.
Listen, man. If Moses parted the Red Sea with the Beyblade, this could happen. I still cannot believe that was a thing that happened in the Beyblade anime.
Somebody edit that into the Prince of Egypt, please, for the love of God. Literally, for the love of God.
My wonders. His staff is just a giant ripcord Beyblade. You're playing with the big boys now.
Let my people
Beyblade go.
I send my top, I send my rip, I send my cord, I send my wheel.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Thus saith the Lord.
The scene of all of the frogs going down the stairs is just a bunch of Beyblades going down the stairs.
Let my Beyblades rip. How can you call down another blade? Let my heart be hardened.
Oh, God. Holy shit. God, that's ridiculous. Also, a request. Just,
Ow, it's hot in here.
You must look at your life. Look at your life through Beyblade's eyes. Oh man! Instead of die da 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 dee da 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 da, it's just.
Oh, this is perfect. DreamWorks, are you listening? Pick this up.
Yeah.
I could fight this guy. Or I could just drop a rock on him.
My favorite part of the Rip of Egypt is it's a scene where Moses finds himself in the presence of the spinning bush. Who are you?
I forgot that stalactites were a logbook entry for a moment.
Whoops.
Don't worry, I got it though. It's all good.
Oh, Moses. They were only toys. Moses, like, backs away, horrified. The crib that Moses goes down the River Nile in is just a giant Beyblade basket. And when his mom sends it down the river, she has to record it so that it floats. inside of the crib, you just hear.
Instead of washing up on the shore, it like bounces up into the Queen's arms.
Yeah.
Boing. Oh. Free baby.
Eyes pointing in different direction. Free baby.
So cute. Bye bye.
It's free baby.
It's literally the exact same sound effect from Kung Pao.
Yeah, 1-to-1.
That's how he gets the 10 Commandments down.
Yeah. Instead of the fiery tornado, it's just a stack of blades that are just on fire, scorching down from the heavens.
One of my favorite things about this game, we kind of hit the halfway point, so the music for Talon Overworld completely changes into the good shit.
River, oh river, rip gently for me. Such precious cargo you spin. Spin and remember my last lullaby.
Hey, how much are Val Kilmer and Ray Fiennes' rates on Cameo right now?
Oh, fucking hell. We have a very specific request for you.
This is actually the music they used for the highlight trailer in the Ocarina of Time disc. Yeah, because there was an ad for this game, along with many other games, on that disc. This was the music they used, and like, at a certain point, like they have the logo like scrolling onto the screen, and like the second it like aligns, they have like Samus die. It's like, oh shit, Samus dies, like complete with like the death scream. So every time I listen to the music, it happens like at a particular like sting of the music. Yeah. Like whenever I listen to the music, I always hear like Samus screaming in the background at that exact point. It's like, ew, Jesus. Anyway, I think we're gonna call it there for the night. Because I mean, we got
halfway
through.
Point.
Yeah, basically to the halfway point. So we'll do the rest of it next time, essentially.
Solid.
Also, just look at this rain effect. It's so good.
Yeah. Subtle touches, people.
Yep.
Subtle touches.
I want to thank everybody for joining us.
Thank you for joining
in this madness, this Metroid madness, March of Metroid madness.
Yes.
And we'll see you all next time.
Tune in next week for the continuation of Zero Kirby's The March of Metroid.
Dun 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 dun.